Hi guys, how are you? My name is Wanyiha Jean Dutz and I'm blessed to be here. You have no idea. Okay, and so God is talking, and he's talking loud and clear. He's awakening his own, and those who are his know his voice. Okay, now God will never come down and say, can you go and do this? He sends people. Okay, and he sends people who he has qualified through crushing. Okay, and he has crushed them until the oil came out. Yeah, whenever people went to God, they are so broken and they are like, it is only you. He allows you to be disciplined, to go through training. Okay, it is training that looks like war, training for battle. So you will battle, and then after that you will get that treatment. Yeah, you will be treated, your wounds will be treated when you come back from war. Okay, and so God is very intentional about what he does, and he brings you to a point where you can rest, and your war wounds can be both anointed, yeah, anointed for healing, and also bandage, yeah, so that there is no exposure to anything that could, harm you or cause the wound to fester. Okay, so will the wound be there? Yes, but it's going to be healing. Once you get better enough, you're thrown back into the war. Okay, but any country that is worth its salt always takes care of their soldiers. Yeah, so they always bring back their prisoners, always takes care of the even when they lose, yeah, they recognize where this child has come from. Okay, so battle, but also care. Okay, because all these things are necessary. That is the world system, that is the spiritual system too. There's no system that exists on earth that did not start in heaven. Okay, so yeah, that's how it is, and that is how it has been. Okay, like on the 5th year overall, we had lived here, I think 3 years. We went to Kenya. Okay, and now this may seem very strange to you, but like I told you, this work has been paid for. Yeah, so whatever you feel like is very sensitive and you need to go drink some water, I will allow you to do that. Yeah, and then gather strength and come back. So when we got home, because we didn't go directly home, yeah, we had to stop for glucose. When we arrived, we had already made living arrangements, so we went where we were living. Yeah, and so I would organize with one of my cousins. Actually, our eldest cousin is the one who was married to Ameru. Yeah, so I told her to organize the whole thing. And so we would meet at mom's. Okay, and the day that we wanted to meet, mom wasn't even available. So when she was available, which was January 2nd, is when we met her. Yeah? And my cousin had objections. She was like, okay, so if you're meeting here, how about the rest of the people? And I was like, no. This whole thing is organized. Okay, God had, advised every step of the way. You meet here, and now you go to the, to the rest of the, there's always that one home where people gather, yeah. But this story is not about all those people. It is about the situation I found in my home, okay, in Dandora, where I grew up, yeah. So when we came in, of course, nobody was expecting us, yeah. So during that time, my aunt had passed and her son had gotten married. Yeah, so these are the only 2 existing marriages in this place. Okay, now if you feel a bit lost, just know that this whole thing is about marriage. And now when I'm drawing up these things, I want you now to relate. Okay, meditate on these things that God is allowing you to see. Okay, and so I would even meet this girl that was married in the family outside. Yeah, this girl, I had met her, just before I left. Yeah, I would be the one throwing baby showers and all this, because I was like, no in-law will ever be treated any type of way here. Okay, and so I was embracing her. And then I noticed that when I was, beginning to settle here, I could send her, to do things, maybe surprise my mom for her birthday, just do things, and she would do them to the T. Okay, she was so good at all these things. Yeah, and now like shortly after we met and she had a baby, we left. Okay, and so we would stay in communication, just as she was growing, and I was like, oh my God, this girl is so much like me. All the problems I had from the initial stages. Yeah, and so I would try to advise, but she was of course smarter than me. The one who is coming after you is way smarter. Okay, so I come home And I'm like, you know, I don't know what it is about going back home. You think like this place is smaller than it used to be. Okay, so I'm looking around and we have to hide at our house because my mom is somewhere, you know, outside the house. Yeah, so until she goes back to the house is when we go in. Yeah, so I'm like, this is home. Look around, not loving home. What happened? Why hasn't this home been improving? And why isn't it looking larger, you know? Because I've been to the Americas, okay? And so that is how sometimes your aunties will come and you're like, why was she so sneery? Okay, wait for this. So I'm observing everything. I'm like, why did the toilet block and nobody unblocked it? Okay? Why is there a dog that, you know, there's, you know, like smelly? It is smelly around that area, you know. So the bathroom area is on one side. With Dandora, there's like a washroom and a bathroom. And then, you know, there's a section. Yeah, originally it would be just a kitchen area because the homes were designed in such a way like there's a big main house and separate, you know, bedroom and then a kitchen. Okay, but now with the new extensions, like people would add more homes, yeah, more rooms. Okay, so this house from the gate is the main house. Okay, and this is where now my cousin, you know, my aunt's son and his wife are occupying. Okay, so my mother's house is on the other side where we grew up, you know, since we were young. That was like one of the bedrooms, and so there we extended and added a living room and all of that. Okay, now in my time abroad, I would tell my mom, think about selling this place because I need you to move to a different place. Okay, and my mom just wouldn't go through the process, and we would be at such loggerheads. Okay, so I'm like, why isn't she listening to me? And sometimes, you know, she would be like, develop this place, and I'm like, that is family property. Okay, I cannot come into this. And again, where have I been? Not making money in America. Okay, just never enough. Yeah, so yeah, so I'm looking at home. What's wrong with home? Why didn't home grow up while I was away? You know, home should have been much finer, okay, especially since mommy decided she'll stay for a bit longer. Okay, so what's going on? And so I would look around, my heart would sink. Now I have to tell you that in this period I have been going back to my dreams, and there's just so many I didn't even, you know, I wasn't reading my dreams. Yeah, but among the dreams that you know came in after all the revelations about home and the state of home where I had come from was one dream that shows that I go home. Okay, I go home and the toilet and the bathroom are blocked. Okay, and so I come in and pull a plug, yeah, and everything goes. And so I take pressurized water and I'm cleaning, you know, the walls and the floors and everything. I'm cleaning everywhere. Okay, but there's just one spot on the wall that would remain with some excrete. Okay, so I'm like, man, this is bad, you know, so just, you know, disturbing everybody's peace. Okay, but now at this point I'm just observing. So mommy comes, I think from shower or something, and she finds who, you know, we surprise her. Okay, she cannot bear it. It is too much for her. She almost fainted, and then she's confused, you know, why didn't you tell me immediately? Yeah, but now God was playing it the way he wanted. Okay, and so we had a time, and then after some time we went to meet the rest of the family. Now this is something we've always done as a family. We would meet, sing, share the word, you know, and just be together. That was our tradition. And no matter what was going on, we would say we are very blessed, we are God-fearing, you know, we want to be together. Many times we would make attempts to be together. And let me tell you, our family is tiny. From grandma, she has just 4 girls. The first girl has 3 kids. Second girl has 1 kid. Third girl, who is my mom, has 2 girls, and the last girl has you know, 2 boys. Okay, so tiny family that we've always wanted to collect, but from it are coming so many kids. Yeah, so I can see like my grandma, you know, she is expanding, you know, from her roots. she has really expanded. If she saw what God has done, she would really be blessed, okay? And so I did not know it, but I had seen the condition of my home, and it was bugging me, okay? Because I felt like maybe I didn't understand it then, but it's like the spiritual, the spiritual condition reflects the physical, and God had already shown me through the house that we were now occupying, yeah? And so I take my girl is my in-law, yeah? We are always conversing, always so cool with each other. We seem to understand each other's language, yeah? So of course I let her report, report her all her problems, yeah? And I'm like, you know what, hang on, I've been there, I've done that. Do not move an inch, be strong, stand, make your face like a flint, yeah, and just face all of it. She's like, no, people are accusing me, and all of that, yeah. And so I'm like, oh my God, this girl is me. Oh Jehovah God, please let her see your light and let her stand, no matter what, yeah. So I did not know it, but all these places I had been were about marriages, okay? Because when the marriage is ruined from the very beginning, you will see it trickle down to all the generations, yeah? And so at some point, yeah, we had to deal with some issues, and I'm asking, like, she believes I'm on her side, yeah? But I want to hear everyone, because now I've graduated to a post of a judge, okay? So I can speak and be listened to, yeah? So I'm listening to all these stories, and I see, like, my cousins, the boys also, their dad was separated by my grandma, okay? So there's this spirit. Now, even when grandma was separated from her husband, she did the same to her children because of this ancient spirit. When people come between you, they're not just doing it naturally in the physical, okay? So they will set this spirit against you, and they'll be like, no, yeah? So no, you can't marry this one, you have to come home, you're not supposed to be married. Let me tell you, marriage is God's family on earth, okay? God uses marriage to establish himself, and so make godly children in it, and they now continue the generations, yeah? What happens when there is no marriage, yeah? Even the places we are growing, we didn't see a lot of dads, and even whenever they were there, they were just going through some things, yeah? Had there been good structure and governance, godly way, perhaps there would not even be slums and all of this, yeah? But due to rural-urban migration, a lot of that was happening. And it would happen because even in the rurals, it all happened there in the countryside, yeah? When people were attacked, yeah, by idol worship, okay? So there was always a curse. There was curses before even people went to the urban areas, okay? There were curses and numbing of senses even before the colonialists came, okay? And now you face all those curses where men are just, men now find themselves even disappearing, being detained and all of that, yeah? And then they come now here for seeking greener pastures, okay? And so by the time we discover these people in Nairobi, some people are in affluent areas, perhaps enjoying blessings, or perhaps they have manipulated this whole thing, okay? They have stolen destinies. If you think this thing is new, oh my God, it's aged, It has stood the test of times, yeah? There will always be deception, okay? And that was first among the, the ones that were reigning. So yes, some people have blessings and they're operating in them. Some people have stolen blessings from others, okay? So when people steal like a marriage, a blessing of marriage, everything comes as a package. So let's say the package is a marriage, okay? Marriage, and the blessings will be what? Children, wealth, which is earned gradually, and then suddenly you're comfortable, and then now you usher your children with more comfort, to the next generations, yeah? And also you are left comfortable, so that you're not coming into now this generation and be like, oh, what did you earn? Can you bring it? We need to build at home and all of that. Every man is supposed to have built their home with his wife, okay? So when the children have to come back to you, it is to bless you, okay? To visit and have that continuity in the African system, okay? So we are one, but now we are branching off. And when the kids branch off, we should be happy for them, yeah? And now this man and the woman remain being the home, Big Mama's house. thought it's an animal. Big Mama's house. So this Big Mama can invite the children and their wives and their husbands for once in a while, you know, meetings, dinners and all that. But what was happening instead? If a young man marries, the mother is after him, you know, like, you have to take care of us first, and you're just interfering with this girl who is your granddaughter, I mean your daughter-in-law. And so now you're fighting with her and all of this. You're competing for attention from your son. Okay, why? Perhaps because you lost a husband, and yes, you're in mourning. But what does God say in Isaiah 54? When you lose your husband, he does what? He covers you. He becomes your husband. So if you're in widowhood, God is your husband. Okay, so you are actually ushered into priesthood, okay, where now you're praying for your generation, blessing your generation, not rushing after them so that you get what they're getting. Okay, so in places where there's actually a curse, people are so anxious when their children seem to move away. Okay, and so they even threaten to curse, and they're like, let me tell you, do not think you're better just because you're getting all this, yeah? Because every new thing is so attractive. I remember a friend of ours got married, yeah? And we would be in her house. She's cooking for us, you know, right after her honeymoon, yeah? And she has all these nice things in her fridge, like ice creams and chocolates and, you know, and I was like, you know, girl, I went home and organized my fridge because I was like, wow, this newness is really so beautiful. This newness is so beautiful, but let me tell you, God blesses you through the ages so that you become such a beauty to behold. Your home is so blessed, you needn't go to your child's home, okay? But because of all this manipulation, all this corruption, all this madness, all this migration, just like before, now people get corrupted, and now some have to employ the, you know, idols and new gods, and some just sit there depressed. Do you understand? Okay, and so in my home, I see this thing happening where grandma is living with her two unmarried daughters, yeah, and the others, even though they are gone, they have to step in a lot of times to just help and be like the man in the family to say what will happen. Okay, so let me tell you, the child of the home, the children who are born in the home can see the corruption, okay? And some will speak, you know, about it, some will not, okay? So the favorites are the ones who do not speak. The worst kids are the ones who speak against the evil that they see. They call it out. They call out this demon that they are seeing, okay? And so, yeah, so that's how it is. No marriage should be living in the old home, because too much will be demanded of the young wife. In Deuteronomy, yeah, when you search about marriages, there were two conditions. When a man is divorcing his wife and gives her a decree of divorce, he lets her go and she can marry another man. But if she comes, she is also left by the other man. She's not supposed to come back to this man, okay? On marriages, that is the first thing you'll find. The second thing you will find is that when a young man marries, he's supposed to stay 1 year, never going to war, never going anywhere, with his young wife, yeah? So he's supposed to be with his young wife and enjoy her, and also make babies so that in case they go to war, so there will be some continuity, okay? She'll be left with a baby, okay? And if some brothers remain, maybe she'll be inherited. But I'm saying this to say, each young marriage should be branching off and going on their own, okay? So that is when things are normal and blessed, okay? Now, by the time my auntie is dying, okay, she had even just divided, you know, made inheritance for her son and divided that, okay? But now, because of this name, it was claiming a lot. And this young man was, you know, was set on living here, okay? Because there is property, there's family property, okay? Family property should be sitting with the, you know, with the matriarch or patriarch until he is ready to leave, you know, he's ready to die and he divides it, yeah? So this property is left with the matriarch. The new matriarch is mom, okay? And now for this woman, I'm coming to understand, for her to get the matriarchy position was because her mother directly entrusted it to her. And even though I said sell and divide the money, she wouldn't sell, okay? She was committed. Why? because of things I did not understand, but were very, very spiritual. Okay, so altars. Okay, so this young man is supposed to move out. The girl is twisting in that condition. Who else was in that condition? Me. And so I get to talk. Whenever I get the chance to talk, I'm letting my aunties know this is so wrong. This girl is suffering under the altars in our family. It is not her. Okay, all these things that are being reported to me are not her. Okay, it is the condition at home. And so a man should leave his mother and father and go on and make a home with his wife. Okay, but because of all these altars that are operating, and because sometimes people come into something too early before all the understanding is found, what will happen? A lot of corruption. Okay, now in this case, this man was not even young. Okay, he's just waiting for the matriarch to say what she's gonna say. Okay, maybe out of brevity he should have gone and just started expanding. Yeah, and that is the word I would say: expand your house. Okay, expand your house. Go to where you're supposed to build. Begin that. Okay, nobody's chasing you away, but because we lack faith and there's a lot of craft going on, yeah, so it is holding the children captive. Okay, so you want to move, the girl can see we are not supposed to be here, we are supposed to be gone. No, everybody is so firm in their decision. I'm like, mom, sell this place, yeah, let us divide the money. No. And I'm like, okay, I even wash my hands. Do I even belong here? I do not. Okay, and so somehow because I see this, I'm complaining about it, but I do not know the genesis of it. I don't know what is going on. I wash my hands, and I said that I've washed my hands. Whenever I'm asked to do something about it, I'm like, it seems very rude, but I'm like, no, I've been away 5 years, been hearing this. I should have expected you guys to go through the process. Okay, now what should be done about this place, I do not know, but it stayed that long for me to understand what was going on with the altars. Okay, and so I come back here, and my husband says something that stays in my mind, but I don't know what to do about it. He says, you've come back as the same person that left Kenya. I'm like, what? Why am I speaking like Sheng and all that? No, he's like, there's something just in you, there's something, a spirit in you. Yeah, so just watch out for that. Yeah, because I could be the same person who is very sensitive, attacks and all that. Yeah, whatever he was saying, I do not know. Okay, and so we come back. When I left my job at that place that I was working in the hospital, they said they can offer me a desk job. Yeah, so I come and start processing that. I'm not quite sure that I should go back there, but I go because it's a desk job. Yeah, and in there I find spirits governing that place. Okay, now they would come for me and be like, what spirits? Still places, each place has strongholds. Okay, and so when I met some people from the former place, someone nice, as if making up for anything that ever happened in the other place, some now were curious about me, and some were even attacking me. Okay, but I had this problem, I can't sit down for long. Yeah, so I'm supposed to be sitting the whole time, but I want to stand up and do like squats and all that just to have my body stretching. I cannot sit for 8 straight hours. Are you kidding me? So I started at 16 hours, and then I was like, okay, they actually spoke for me to be employed full-time, because they're like, you don't have another job, like so curious about my life. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what I know. All I know is that I should not be here, so I can do 16 hours. But anyway, I'm curious, since I don't know what is happening. I go in full time and my body cannot take it. Okay, all that sitting is just not working for me. The pain now is back because I'm just sitting, I'm not active, I'm not, and I still don't know, because everything takes a process. Okay, eventually I'm like, guys, we get a new manager, and I'm like, you know what, I do not know what is wrong, I have to leave. Okay, all this time I've been asking God, should I leave? I'm asking the opinion of other people. I just know the discomfort in my body, I cannot stay, but I still have the same fears. Okay, but eventually I leave. Whenever you leave a place, maybe because God told you, or because in your heart that you should leave, you should enter a place of consecration. Okay, whether God commands it or you just left. Okay, you will notice some things, because by the time you're leaving, you've made some decisions. Yeah, that this is what you're going to do, this is the time you're going to take. So if you say like 6 months, yeah, I'm going to take 6 months out of the job, And then of course you'll have organized. Yeah, sometimes you have that ability because everything is in levels. So sometimes you come out of a job and you're like, okay, I have this much, it will take me up to this point. I have this thing that I do on the side or something. Yeah, so what do I do when I leave? I'm going to be walking, I'm going to be reading, I'm going to do all this. Yeah, that thing will be tested because you will reach a place where you're like, okay, I've done that, now I can't even touch my Bible, now I don't even want to talk, now I'm getting into my comfort, which is not even a comfort. I'm just sitting a lot, you know, like I said, I want to be sitting. I left because I don't want to be seated. I want to be, you know, moving about. But now it's like now you're sinking. You can't do any of that. You don't even want to pray. You don't want to do anything. Yeah. Now, if you're spirit, you'll find that, you know, God will, anytime, because for me, I had to be forced, you know, because I have to come here. So I do a bit of reading. I do a bit of praying. Yeah. Sometimes now at some point now God starts waking me up. Whenever he's waking me up at whatever time of the night, I'm like, good, at least now you're speaking. I did not know what this is. Yeah. And so you start praying. And I think you guys noticed the times I would go into an Esther's fast. And then when I come up on day 2, I make a video and then I post it after the fast. And I'm like, if God calls you into a fast, just know that he's calling you because there's something that's going on in the background that he wants you to come into agreement with. Okay. And so I do all those fasts. Yeah. And I do, and as I do this fast, now God, you know, starts revealing about, you know, marriages in the home. Okay. And so I have to deal with this one marriage that I was fighting for. I was fighting for this girl. Yeah. But this now is showing the situation, the spiritual situation in a home, in our home. Okay. So when a marriage is afflicted, that is the situation or the spiritual state of the home. Okay. Now, why is this important? You do not marry a man. I know I've said it before. You do not marry just this man. You marry the spiritual state of their home. So whatever your marriage looks like, it looks like where he has come from. Okay. And so when you find that you're coming into this, you have to now, you have to understand. Now you'll see the woman is just suffering, just wondering what is going on. Yeah. I did not know it, but now this girl was facing the altars of our family and manifesting it. Yeah. So it's like she was chosen for this position. Yeah. She would manifest every ugly thing that was in this home. So I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to explain more. Okay. Bye-bye.